Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Casual Sports Podcast, Wednesday edition. It's a crappy day outside. It's rainy. It's cloudy. No blue skies, but we're still here. I'm here to talk about sports. So let's get right into it. I want to talk about the hockey game last night. I'm supposed to have two other people in here with me. Are you guys there? Looks like I'm by myself.
No, we're just seeing how long you would go for.
All right, I was willing to go by myself.
Hey, Matt, before we get started, I just want to say one thing here. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I knew somebody was going to say that crummy joke.
Come on, Matt. Lighten up a bit. Come on. Light up like some sabers.
We were supposed to have one on the show today, but that didn't happen.
I almost had one, but you know what? How about instead of that,
let your roommate
later.
Let your roommate know that I said Star Wars is overrated.
I never even got into it, so I think I can agree with you, man.
You know what?
How about this with Star Wars? It's fun. I mean, it's definitely a fun thing. Like, you can't tell me lightsabers aren't cool and going in space isn't like kind of
that
dope.
Stuff's fun
because it is. But I will put this out there: the movies are extremely overrated.
I haven't even seen most of them.
You can tell our fellow friends that
they were good for their time, and revolutionary for their time when they were initially put out.
But that's the era of that and Star Trek and all the that era.
If you really go watch those movies for what they aren't the best.
We all know what the best.
Okay.
We all know what the best franchise is ever.
He's gonna say Rocky.
I'm just.
That pans out just about perfectly right there.
Nice pan job there, Matt.
Just right there. Oh, my door's in the way.
But... Oh, come on, Matt.
He's trying to flex and he can't even do it because he wasn't prepared.
He doesn't know how to flex.
Never. Hey. But all right, let's talk some hockey. All right.
Oh, we actually gonna do sports today?
Oh yeah, I guess
we can if we want.
I got homework to do. I can go do it.
Nah, man, I'm done for this semester. I'm over, clean. I'm on vacation, baby.
I'll be done after tomorrow.
I got two more things.
Or actually, Friday. Sorry.
No, actually, before we get into hockey here real quick, I got to make some announcements for high school baseball tonight. The Holy War that got canceled yesterday has been moved to tonight. They open things up 5 p.m. Bob Scene Park on YSNLive.com will be on the call. And second game tonight, it's a double header. Mike, your squad's in action. Girard, they're taking on Poland. Should be an interesting one. Girard's at least been making the last couple close. I'd be interested to see if they can pick up win number 3 over a team right above 500 in Poland.
Yeah, well, that'd be a good win for them. Only 2 wins, right? We talked about it yesterday. It's pretty bad.
2-14. They need something, man.
But at least you said at least they're being somewhat competitive.
Yeah, and I mean,
you're not playing
I think maybe the one thing out of it, they are coming off of, 2 of their wins on the season came against Jefferson and Liberty in 2 of their last 3 games. They lost their last game out against Poland on the road. Now they have it technically a home game. They're in Bob Scene, though, so not really much of a home game. They found a stadium to play in. But keep in mind, they are coming off a win here on the 30th in which they beat Liberty 28-2. So they can score.
Just not all the time.
Right, just in the one game. They're averaging probably closer to maybe 2-3 runs a game for the most part on what's a normal game for them. You could probably say their average might be more 3 or 4, but it'll be interesting to see here. At least we got the Holy War going beforehand, so that at least should set the tone for a good night.
That should be fun, yeah.
Actually, here it is. They're technically averaging 5 runs a game, but keep in mind, 28 of those came in one game. So
that's not a good. That's really not evened out that well.
That is an insane number to have in that, by the way. I mean,
yeah.
If you're gonna take out that one game, they're actually averaging more like 3.5 runs.
That's not good.
That one game made a huge difference in what the season numbers have looked like because they've been outscored 80-140.
That's bad.
They needed that Liberty game, that's for sure.
To make it look better, yeah.
Right.
But
all right, Matt, I'll let you take it over into the NHL.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about our game last.
Wait, Matt, look what I pulled out. Mike Lang.
Oh yeah, scratch my back with a hacksaw. I have one in my garage. I'll go get it. That probably
I got
won't
mine.
be
Don't
too
worry.
safe. All right, so let's start out with this first. Flames taking down the Stars 1-0 last night. So that was a pretty. I mean, I kept an eye on not as much as I did the whole. I mean, I watched the whole Pens game, but I was looking at other scores.
I can't believe you watched the whole Penn games with as late as it went.
Oh my god!
What was it? 4.5, 5 hours? Jeez, I was like, come on.
I went. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not getting up. I'm watching it. But Flames 1-0 over the Stars. That's gonna be back and forth series. I feel like, honestly, I think Dallas can give some fight, but the Flames are pretty good. Avalanche and Predators. Avalanche are gonna clear cut sweep them.
That's what I called that yesterday.
I mean, 7-2. I'm like, man. Like,
oh, by the way, Matt, since you weren't on yesterday, do you want to make your predictions for all these series?
Oh yeah,
like
sure.
The distance as you go through them. You don't have to do it right now. But
I say Flames. Well, they don't go 7. They go like 5, right?
No, they're 7.
They're 7. Flames and Stars. I say the Flames take it in 5-6 games. Avalanche will sweep. Let's talk about the Capitals coming back from being down 2-0 last night. I think they needed everything they could to come back and beat the Panthers, and they did. I don't think they can last, though.
I was going to say, do you think they can really do it again, though?
No, they're old.
I think yesterday
the Panthers let off the gas a little bit, and I mean they shouldn't be doing that. They should keep pressing down the gas pedal like they have all year, and I don't know, they shouldn't be doing this here. Bobrovsky, that's a former the goaltender for Florida. That's a former Columbus guy, I believe. So there you go, right there. But
doing well on another team.
Yep. Yeah, hey man, that's just Ohio sports. We send people other places.
Yeah, but the Panthers, they'll probably take it in 5 games. Honestly.
I think I called 5 yesterday, and the reason why I gave Washington a game, Matt, because I know we don't like them, but they still have a good core and a good pedigree. Yeah. So I would give them at least a game, and I was kind of questioning. I was on the verge of maybe getting them 6, but I didn't know how Ovechkin was coming back. I know he missed the last 3 games of the regular season, so that was a question mark. That's kind of why I went 5. But I think yesterday with Florida, they kind of came out flat. I think you just honestly say it. They started out hot, but then they just let their foot off the gas.
Same thing that the Rangers did.
Yeah, so. and you didn't really expect a team like that for Florida, who best record in the league to this point. So you expect them to come out and protect home ice in game 2 for sure. But I mean, you expect them to come out more fired up for the rest of the series.
Yeah, but all right, what's going on in our game, man? Holy cow! What a game this was.
There's a lot to get into.
A little bit of it. I was doing some homework. I came out. I'm like, oh, really? It's already 1-0. I'm like, you gotta be serious, man. You gotta be serious. It's already 1-0. I can't believe it. Like, I was so mad already. I'm like, yeah, we're losing. Then it became 2-0. I'm like, I'm starting to get angry and pacing around my house and stuff like that. I'm like, you gotta be serious. So I was eating dinner when they scored 2 and made it 2-0. I'm just like, I don't want to eat.
What'd you eat?
I just want to watch the game. And then Gensel scored back-to-back. Gensel scored back-to-back. And I'm like, all right, yeah. Then we get the power play. I'm like, all right, sweet. We got a power play. We can go up 3-2. No. Chris Kreider scores a shorthanded goal. I'm like, are you serious? Then they get another penalty. And now it's 5-on-3. And Pens get that goal right after to make it 3-3. And that's where it stayed. Brian Rust got that 3rd goal. And then next thing you know, 5 minutes, 58 seconds into the 3rd overtime, Evgeny Malkin, who
wait, you forgot a good big part.
All night. I was so mad at him all night, and so were you, Mike. We were mad at him all night. I'm like, what's he doing there? He fumbled a pass. He's slow on defense. Then the right place at the right time, just tips that in.
Well, that one, I forget which. It was this second overtime that they had like a 3-on-2, and he was in the middle of the break.
Yeah.
And it's like he was trying to take a whole other overtime until he shot the puck. I mean, what are you doing? But you missed a part though, Matt.
I want to touch on this before the interference, the goalie interference. I knew that was interference right away.
Oh yeah, that's
like the guy collided right into DeSmith. I believe it was DeSmith that it was, and then Domingue came in because 3 overtimes. I mean, that kid came in and performed. Like, I'm like, oh god, they're replacing goaltenders. We're really screwed now because I didn't even know anything about this Domingue guy. I didn't even say his name right. I was saying it Domingue. Now it's actually pronounced Domingue. Now we know him, and this kid, hopefully, he's here to stay for a little bit because we need him.
Remember 17 for 17, and that I would hope you want that guy to stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah,
that's pretty good mark for him. Can't do any better.
Skating everywhere in overtime. Like, oh, we're so screwed. There's that one moment it was 1-on-1 with him, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. And he ended up saving it. It was a heck of a save. I was losing everything. So I'm just sitting there like, come on, we gotta score now. We can't go into 4 overtimes, and then boom.
Well, I think, Matt, remember when Jari first went down and I was talking about, DeSmith, I don't think he deserved the criticism he was getting, like saying, we're going to go in the playoffs and lose because we have DeSmith. Well, he played well whenever he had chances in the playoffs games he was in the past. So, but I remember when we were talking about that, I was like, who's their third string goalie? They need a third string, and it was him. We didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So he comes in, and I was kind of, they were really, really talking. You could tell, like I told you when I was texting you, they were kind of running out of things to talk about on the broadcast because they just kept repeating.
They kept on talking
Louis
about
Domingue, all this, his backstory.
I bet you they'll talk about
as a broadcaster, that's got to be really hard. I know you're in a playoff game, so obviously they got a lot prepared. But you go that deep, I mean, you don't prepare to go to 3 overtimes. You just start
saying random stuff.
To multiple different goalies to go that deep. I mean, you never expect that as a broadcaster. You plan maybe 2. Once you get into that third one, though, good luck. All bets are off. I mean, you don't see that a lot in hockey. You see 1. I think 1's a very common occurrence in hockey. You get a lot of overtime games. To go that deep, though, is insane. I mean, it reminds me last time Blue Jackets were in the playoffs. They went right in there and forced the longest game in playoff history. And at that point, I watched that one hockey game. I was good on hockey for the rest of the playoffs. I'm like, I saw all my hockey I needed to see. That was insane. I think they lost, but it was still cool.
Well, I think the fun part though to Ming Matt is that he said that in his post game, he's like, last overtime I was out there eating a meal, and then I had to come in the next overtime to come in and fill in. But I think it was a credit to him though, seriously, because not only did he come in, Matt, and play well, they went at him right away. His first 30 seconds, they had 3 shots on him. So he made a lot of. I don't know how many total stops he ended up with, but he had 17 within
He didn't know
5 minutes.
When he saw DeSmith skating to the bench, he's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
But what do we got left?
But I think, Matt, that adds to. I saw people talk on Twitter today, like writers and stuff. At least for in our lives, in 20-something years, that has to be one of the better Penguins wins in recent memory.
Oh yeah, and this is
maybe
a
all time
team that we didn't beat all year. We couldn't beat them all year long. I'm like, we're not good in overtime either. We're 11 overtime losses, and I'm like, oh god, we're playing a team that we can't beat, and we're not good in overtime. So that's 2 negatives right there. I'm just sitting there like, it's got to change, or we're gonna lose again.
Yeah.
And finally it changed. I'm like, all right, we really needed that one. We needed at least one on the road in Madison Square Garden. It was
Mike. Do you remember what I picked for this series yesterday? Because I think I took Penguins in Game 1, but I think
you picked them to win. I don't remember what your series prediction was, though. I know you picked them to win last night.
I'm taking them in 6. I say Pens in 6.
I took the Rangers. I don't remember if I took Rangers in 5 or 6, though. I know it wasn't a sweep.
I picked Pens in 6, Matt.
Pens in 6.
Because I don't have enough confidence for them in 7 games. Because that's still, I know they won last night.
No, you don't want.
But that's a tough place to play in New York when you can't beat New York teams. Yeah, I know they kind of changed it last night. The Madison Square Garden's a hard place to play for hockey as well. So
that's a hard. And every game they played each other, it's been a nail biter game, 4-3, 2-1, 1-goal games. It's been
just
insane.
One of those matchups you like to see.
Yeah, I hate to see them. Honestly, I'm scared the whole time.
Well, as a fan, yeah, but
every time Kreider goes off, I'm like, oh, here we go. The dude can play. We'll just put it like that. But Kapanen came in and played pretty good defense. Who's out? The one guy's that isn't. Raquel's hurt, I think. So Kapanen.
Yeah, that was a cheap shot too.
Yeah, it was.
That Rangers guy left his feet and extended the arm.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice hit.
It was a nice hit, but that was kind of illegal. It was kind of sweet. If you see the picture, because you can't see it from the broadcast camera, but if you see it reversed, it was sweet. But it was wrong. He got knocked out, Matt.
He got knocked out.
You know what? As somebody that doesn't really love hockey like you guys do, I'm in it for the hits, man. I love seeing that.
Oh, that's hockey for sure. Oh yeah. That part of it, that part of it was sweet, but I was like, hey, that's got to be something there.
Because I know when I was at that Phantoms game, every time somebody had the puck and they were up near right at the wall right in front of me, I was just going, hit him, put him in the wall. I'm like, I don't even like hockey. I'm just like begging for this 20-year-old kid just to get drilled into a wall. I felt like a terrible human being, but at the same time, it was like I really wanted to see him get hammered into a wall.
Yeah, half those kids are younger than us, half of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know they could all kick mine, but I still wanted to see him get put into the wall.
Oh, dude, one time I sat right by the glass at a Phantoms game. It is awesome.
Yeah, I had great tickets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I've only been to one Phantoms game. It was a long time ago, but I gotta go to more. But
they'd be really fun if fans showed up. There was like nobody there for their playoff game.
Are they still playing? I don't even know.
No, they got eliminated.
At that game, or
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's tough.
Yeah.
It seems like a good amount, though. They are in the playoffs every couple of years, it seems.
Yeah, a lot of people from the league get in, so it's definitely made it a little bit easier for them.
I don't even think there's that many teams
get that
anyways.
spot. I think there's 16 in total, so it's a decent-sized league.
That's good, yeah.
Okay. But all right, let's go. Well, I can talk about this all day. We play Thursday, back in Madison Square Garden, so we just gotta go out and take care of business again. If we take both games of Madison Square Garden, we are in a good position. Okay, we come back to Pittsburgh, maybe lose one and win one, then up, then we'll see. We'll go from there. I don't know. If we sweep these guys, I'm going to be in awe. I don't think it's
Matt, I'm just happy we got a game in New York. I'm not talking anything about that. We got one there. I want to win both, but we got one.
Listen, I'm talking
Matt,
about
you're getting too far ahead of yourself here, thinking you are even going to win this series. Don't start talking about sweeps.
Listen, I'm putting it out there.
You get one win over New York this season, and he starts going, I don't know if we can sweep them. Second, all right.
We did beat him once.
All right. Then he goes, I don't know if we can sweep them.
It's not going to happen, okay? I'm bringing it up because it's not going to happen, so that's why I'm bringing it up. So it's not going to happen.
Okay.
So
hey, I want to win tomorrow night, but we did our job and got one.
We got one. So. I'll be all right if we lose tomorrow.
I'll put this out there. I don't dislike the Penguins at all. That's the nearest hockey team to here. So I'm just being realistic about this. So don't get things confused out there.
I didn't feel confident picking them in 6 yesterday. I just picked them because I like them.
Yeah.
But I'm not confident in it.
It'd be like us picking the Cavaliers over like Boston if we had gotten into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We all know that wasn't going to happen.
But it's not like the Rangers are a huge juggernaut, Matt. It's a bad matchup for us because we're slower, and they've had our numbers.
We don't have anybody that can fight.
Honestly, I really like the way the Rangers have played this season. To me, they might be the underdog of this playoffs, and I know it's kind of weird because they're the second team out of the Metropolitan. We talked how strong this conference division was all year, but I feel like when you look at the powerhouses, the Hurricanes, Panthers, you got Colorado and the Flames all making some epic noise. I mean, Minnesota was mega this season, and they put up a lot of points, and so did the Maple Leafs and the Lightning. I feel like, even though we talked about how strong the Metropolitan is, I feel like this Rangers team is that dark horse right now in the playoffs that they're going to kind of get pushed to the side, and they're going to be that team to make that run. And I've really liked what I've seen out of the Rangers when we've talked about them this season. I feel like every time we go to talk about them, they surprise us every time, and 3 overtimes last night was no exception to that rule.
And Matt, the other interesting thing so far is a lot of these teams that we were talking about during the regular season, like, hey, they're like top tier teams. Half of them lost. Tampa Bay lost. Who lost last night? Florida lost last night.
Still can't believe Florida lost.
Yeah, I'm not shocked, but because it is Washington, Matt, they still have their core in place. Yeah. I'm not shocked, but the way Florida started out, were they up 2-0? I know they're up 1-0 when I was texting you, but I think they were up 2-0. Gave it four goals unanswered, so that part of it was shocking. But I think so far, Matt, we've seen a lot of good games. And a lot of teams that are showing that they're somewhat beatable.
I think Carolina's taking a clean sweep against Boston. So they won 5-1.
Are we going into the first game today then?
Yeah, we'll jump into today's game. Man, Toronto came out and said, "Hey, they're not going to be Tampa Bay is not going to be defending too much longer, and they came out.
Matt, you got to stick in here with Bruins Hurricanes. You can't just skip over it. You're already moving on to the next one.
But yeah, no, I'm just talking about each one. I'm naming each one before we go into it. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a different system. But all right, but Bruins Hurricanes. I mean,
Carolina's going to do their job again. Want to get on home ice.
Yeah. Mike, you heard me last night. You're like, oh, I can't stand Marchand and Bergeron, and I went on. I'm like, I can't stand Pasternak, Bergeron,
all their former players, all their whatever.
Matt can't stand Boston, the city.
Danton Heinen, it plays for the Penguins. He was on Boston, and I used to hate him. I'm still trying to get over that fact. I'm like, all right, he's playing good. He did play a little bit for Anaheim too, which made me. I mean, okay, it's not like he came right over from Boston. And another thing,
Matt just hates the player simply because he played there.
Our coach, Mike Sullivan, played and coached the Bruins.
So Matt, maybe it kind of sounds like what you're saying here is Pittsburgh would be nothing without the Boston Bruins.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
pick up one player
and your coach.
Nope. We've had great teams before that. Even before, I mean, I'm
just saying right now, this team might not be where it is without Boston.
But Matt, are you gonna hate on Sullivan, 2-time Stanley Cup champ?
No, I'm not hating on Sullivan.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of talk though that he needs to go. I don't think he should, but
no.
I mean,
well, I'll get into that in the offseason. I'm not going to talk about that right now.
We're not worried about that.
I have my thoughts on
that.
But
Hurricanes are just too fast. Sebastian Aho, 37 goals, 44 assists, 81 points. I mean, holy cow! And I mean, the fact that Brad Marchand has, similar to that. 32 goals, 48 assists, and 80 points, and he's an old man. So, the fact that he's out there still doing the same things that a young Sebastian Aho is, even better, is still, I don't like him. I don't like the whole team, but still, they can go out and play hockey. So, honestly, if the Hurricanes slip up, if they left their gas pedal a little bit, Florida did last night to Washington, Boston's going to sneak out.
Matt, I know what you're saying here, because throughout sports, there's a lot of teams I don't like, but you still got to give them credit when they're good.
Yeah.
You
got to give them credit when credit's due.
I'm not going to sit here and act like Boston's not capable. I think Carolina can make this a sweep, maybe 5 games, but I definitely think Carolina's going to win, but you can't count Boston out. I think we talked about them a little bit during the regular season. You can't count them out. They're still a good team.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Carolina again tonight.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going Carolina. I think they're the better team overall, but they got to be more aggressive, man. They don't hit enough people. This is hockey. Got to make some contact here. You looked up. I just looked this up. Stats for what team has the most hits per game this season, and the ones that aren't surprising me at all: Nashville, Boston, Tampa, and New York are all teams that lead the NHL in hits per game this season. And I think that's a big part of kind of being aggressive out there. I think when you get into the playoffs, you have to be aggressive. I know those teams didn't fare well in their first games here in the playoffs. But you got a team like the Hurricanes. They're sitting middle of the pack, a little bit farther down. And that seems to be where the majority of our lead playoff teams are. Carolina, Calgary, and Colorado all average about 21 to 22 hits per game this season. And I think Carolina's got to continue to be more aggressive. They got to take the fight to Boston. If you let Boston start getting aggressive on you, as mentioned, they were the number 3 team in hits this season when it comes to making contact with another hockey player out there. Not hits like baseball, but you got to take the fight to Boston. That's simple as that. You can't let them dominate play, dominate aggression. They got to stay hot out there and be ready to play physical, because that's what Boston's going to to do.
And I like how you brought up hits too, because that's something I was talking to Matt about last night during the game. The Rangers were hitting almost everybody on the Penguins roster, Matt. And what did Pittsburgh do? They just sat back and let it happen. So I think what Alex is saying is you got to be aggressive in the playoffs. Hockey in general, but when you're a team like Boston or a team like Pittsburgh last night, when you're not probably the favorite to win your series, you got to be aggressive, and you can't just sit back and have these guys manhandle you. You got to get aggressive and be physical back.
Yeah.
Brian,
I think it's very easy to see. The worst teams in hockey this year are Anaheim, Vegas, Kings, Blues, Blue Jackets, Red Wings, Devils, and Sabres. they were all under like 21 hits per game, and yet our best teams are sitting right above that. The sweet spot seems to be about 22 hits per game, and that's putting the best teams in the position to win. You can be aggressive without getting yourself in penalty trouble, and I think that's where you see some of these teams that are a little bit more aggressive, like the Rangers, the Lightning, the Bruins. They lost that first game. The aggression got away from them. They couldn't play their style of game entirely, and sometimes the emotions in the playoffs can be too much. That's on the other side of getting those hits. Don't let the hits control you. You got to just let those come in the pace of the play.
Yeah.
But I got Carolina winning tonight. They're just too good. My differential loves them.
There you go.
Give it to the differential. I want to see how this differential works out in the playoffs. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, you got to test it out.
I should start keeping track.
All right, let's jump in. Toronto versus Tampa Bay tonight. Toronto took the first game, 5-1, I think I said. So, I don't know, a defending champs, Mike. I mean, I know it's one game, but if we see this back-to-back nights, it's catching up with them.
You could definitely worry, but I think...
I mean, look at Tampa Bay. I mean, they got, heck of a roster. They got Stamkos. They got some players.
Vasilevsky.
But playing back-to-back years all the way to the Stanley Cup, man, it's going to catch up with you.
That's where I was just going to go, Matt. I don't know if it's catching up to them, but it has to be somewhat playing a factor because we've seen it with teams that make deep runs. We've seen it in basketball, too, with Cleveland and Golden State making all these runs consecutive years. It catches up to you. And it's not something to be wrong about. I mean, you won 2 straight Stanley Cups. It's going to catch up to you at some point. But I'm not going to overreact after the first game. Toronto just came out and played well, Matt. It's been a while since they've had a home playoff game. And Tampa just didn't come ready to play. But I expect them to come ready to play tonight. I think they're going to show up.
Yeah. I think they got a little bit high of themselves. I think, all right, 2-time defending champs, here we are again. And they just let it slip, I guess. We'll see what happens. But it should be good. But, yeah, and you got to think about, hockey's a lot of games. So, that's 2 seasons in hockey is kind of over 4 or 5 seasons in the NFL, probably over that even. Look at the Buffalo Bills in the 90s going to 4 Super Bowls. That's pretty much kind of equivalent to what Tampa just did in 2 years because it's just the amount of the games. So it's a toll on you. It's a mentally exhaustion as well as physically, obviously. But you're gonna get old. You're gonna be like, we're here again.
You're not going to get bored of winning, though. That's for sure.
No, I think it was worse for Buffalo because they didn't win any of those Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But, time takes a toll. Nobody beats time. Time's undefeated. So
time is undefeated, Matt, but at the same time, if you got a championship roster like that, they don't always fall off. They might take a step back, but they're not going to fall off.
They're not falling off. They're going to take a
51 wins is an incredible season for them. Oh, yeah. They came to the playoffs rolling, and I don't think you can easily count this team out. I feel like you guys are kind of pushing the Maple Leafs here a little bit too much over them.
No, I'm not.
I think you got to give credit back to Tampa and.
I say Tampa.
Just remember, this is a team that can and will find ways to win games.
Right.
They were in a tight series last year going up against the Florida Panthers. They got forced to 6 games before finally closing that out. They went to overtime in the third. They did win those first 2 games, but it was close every single time. That was the first round of their championship season as being, the 3 seed there in the Central. So this is definitely a team that knows how to fight through this adversity. I don't think this is something that you can easily just, say, hey, they're getting old, time's going to take them down.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that simple. They were very dominant last year. It's going to be near impossible to replicate that performance because now everyone in these playoffs has 2 years of seeing what this team can do at this level, and that's what you saw in this first one. But they know how to fight back. They forced, 7 games against the Islanders last year going into the in the Eastern Conference playoffs before making it down to the finals. This team can't go the distance. I don't think age is going to be that much of a factor going from one year to the next. I think Tampa's going to get right back up there. They got game 2 tonight.
I got them taking game 2 tonight, and I've stuck up for them all year because I'm not expecting them to win the cup again this year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be hard to win 3 straight. I think Matt spoke to that, but I still think they're in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I still think they're going to win tonight. And I still think they're going to win the series. I picked them to win this series.
Oh, yeah. But all right, we're burning time with hockey, aren't we? Let's
Perfectly
go Blues.
Fine.
All right, let's go Blues versus Wild. This is a back and forth series. St. Louis took the first game. I bet you Minnesota will come back and say, "Hey, not so fast." You Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't know. We might.
I like this Blues team.
We see Fleury, break out some rust off those pads.
He's washed up.
Oh, he is, but still love him.
Hey, man, sometimes washed-up players give you the most unexpected performances, though, in the playoffs.
I know, but
it does happen a lot. You see it every year. There's always that one guy that comes out of nowhere. I mean, you see it in every sport. There's always somebody that goes and makes their mark on the biggest stage. Whether it's NBA, baseball, hockey, football, somebody steps up, and I mean, whichever team has a guy that steps up, they normally make a deep run into these playoffs.
I mean, Matt, I'd love to see it. We both love Fleury, but he's bounced around a lot since he's left. I don't know how much he has left.
Players play good before. How about last night? Claude Giroux, man, had a goal in that game, I believe, with Florida, a long-time Flyer. So he's way past washed up. I mean, so I mean, we've seen it before, but it should be pretty. This series might go 7 games. I don't know. We might see it. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think I picked it.
I don't remember what our picks were from. I think this was Monday, but my differential 1 is telling me to go on the side of the Blues here. Game 1 showed me that in between Perron and O'Reilly, getting 10 shots on goal and making 4 of them in that first game was a 4-0 win. They kicked their rear end in that one. And, I mean, you look at shots on goal in that game for the Wild, they hardly had any. As a team, they were right around
They're wild.
25, and I didn't see much out of that one. I mean, and with Husso behind or there in the net, 37 out of 37 saves in that game. This Blues team, they're too good.
I think I picked them in 6.
Blues got my differential, and they showed it in game 1. I would go here to change my pick. I got Blues in 5.
I know I picked the Blues. I just don't remember if it was 5 or 6.
I picked the Blues too, yeah. But
I don't know if Wild can get one. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes sweep.
I think
with what we saw in game 1 and what this team has done this season, Blues maybe have the biggest opportunity right now of the teams I've seen.
And Matt, they have most of those guys. Don't forget, 2-3 years ago they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
19.
Was it 19?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2019. I remember, and they were a bad team that year too. They came back. They weren't supposed to win.
And who they beat? Boston. Got them.
They beat Boston.
But I think they're going to take another one tonight. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the Blues win here, they most likely have Colorado in the next round. That's going to be a very difficult matchup.
Colorado's. I know I've talked bad on them all year, but I mean,
Matt, you see them last night? Oh, they look good.
McKinnon, man. Oh man, he's fast, man.
Their whole team's fast.
How are you supposed to keep up with that?
I think you notice one trend here. All the best teams, they're fast.
They're fast.
You have to be in hockey. They have to be.
They make fast people look not fast. They're lightning fast, man. But
who you got tonight?
I'm going Blues again tonight. I don't know. Minnesota. I always feel like Minnesota just gets enough to get in to the playoffs, but they never do anything. So. I think they made it the past couple of years or something, and they never do anything. So I gotta go Blues. But all right, let's go final game, the 10:00 game. This series is gonna be pretty good. Kings pulled out that first game. I still believe Edmonton will take the series.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kings showing out and saying, "Hey, you're not gonna let you take it easily." So I mean, it's not gonna be an easy breeze. But I mean. Like I always say, we're just going to have to see what happens. It's hockey. You don't even know. You can make predictions all you want. You don't even know what's going to happen.
It's almost sometimes more unpredictable than baseball.
Yeah.
I think those two – I think baseball and hockey are like 2 most intense playoffs there are. I know football, it's one and done. Basketball, you have a series. Most of the time, the best team in basketball wins. But hockey and baseball, the scores are so tight together. I mean, you don't know who's going to win because you can't predict everything.
It's not easy to get separation in these games. I mean, you're as you said. I mean, you're scoring 1 point every other inning, every other period, whatever it may be. And you look at sports like basketball, football, you have a lot of opportunities to score when you're playing in those games. You don't have that in the NHL, especially not with the goalies that are in the league at the moment. I mean, we have seen some epic performances already, a few lackluster ones, and I bet you're going to see some of those goalies step up here in the second game, especially the ones that got victimized in the first with a lot of goals scored on them. I think you're going to see a turnaround. But yeah. I got the Oilers taking this game over the Kings. My differential wants me to go this way. This is the way I'm going to go. I still don't like that the Kings had a differential that was near break even. Law of averages eventually is going to come back around. Game 1 went their way. I don't think they can make it stretch out, though.
I know I picked the Oilers. I think I picked them in 5, so to keep on track, I'll go with them tonight. And they should get a game at home, too, Matt. They have a good team around, the best player in hockey, probably. And McDavid,
so oh man,
yeah, they're gonna come out. They're gonna come out good tonight.
Oh, very much so. All right, let's jump into the NBA. We got Heat 76ers game 2 tonight. Man, I'm excited to watch it. It's fun to see a team just fall and suffer. So because this is what's gonna happen. I mean,
I just want to point this out there before Matt goes any further. The 2 teams that he's seen this season, Cleveland and Philadelphia, both collapsed in the late part of the season. Yeah. Curse of Morrison basketball.
Listen, I saw Brooklyn too, technically.
Well, home stadium.
All right, at home.
I'll say, but I mean, yeah, Brooklyn did collapse too. So
I saw Miami at home, and they're kicking ass.
Hey, what's your?
So I'm not a curse like Matt.
And then the other team we saw, Sacramento, they were just bad all year.
What was the other team? We saw the Knicks. I saw the Knicks too.
Yep.
Well, they were never even in it. So
they just had a whole season collapse.
Who else did we? Yeah, me and you were at the Pelicans. Yeah, because we were shouting at Tristan Thompson before he got traded. But all right, I'm still sticking with the sweep on the Heat Sixers series. No Embiid. Tobias Harris did pick up some ground, but I just
that's what we were saying yesterday. He's like the hidden piece that I think we all kind of forgot about when Embiid went down. But I'm right there with you, Matt. Miami, they have all the pieces, and with no Embiid, he's the difference maker in this game. Miami really did whatever they wanted in that one. They definitely got a good chance for a sweep. I'm giving them game 2 here tonight. No questions about it. Philly might get one when we head back into Philadelphia, but I think they can steal a game at home. James Harden has to find a way to score efficiently. At this point in his career, multiple NBA reporters and analysts have said at this point in his career, he's just not an efficient scorer anymore. He's there to pass the ball, and I think that's maybe the most disappointing thing you could ever hear about James Harden, because he was one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history these last couple of years, and you've seen this kind of fall off.
With Houston.
Yeah, with Houston.
I don't think he's been as efficient since he's left Houston.
No.
I mean, he wasn't the same player in Brooklyn.
No.
I mean, I know they never really got things going there. They really didn't have the guys on the court.
The thing is with James Harden, he needs to be a number 1, and he has forgotten how to play that number 1 role these last couple of years, being with Brooklyn, now with Philly. He's been playing second, third fiddle to guys, and I think he honestly forgets how to take over a ball game. That kind of feels like he has every opportunity to, and he knows how to create the opportunities, but he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to put the hammer down, pedal to the metal all the way, and start making that run. So I think that's the big difference this year, and I want to see if he's got that in him still. I mean, not everyone is LeBron James. Not everyone is going to play until they're 40. Age is going to catch up with these guys. We used to look at NBA players and they go, all right, 30 years old, you're right there in the middle of your prime. You got 2-3 years capitalize on it. Because once you hit 34, you're considered old in the NBA. James Harden is 32 years old. His time is coming. He was drafted back in 2009. He's been here a long freaking time.
Curry was 2009.
Right.
Too.
These guys are coming up to the end of their years here, at least their glory years. They're going to be prominent faces in the NBA for sure for another 4, 5, 6 seasons, but we're not that far off from the retirement of James Harden, especially if his career continues to kind of like not live up to what it is. I know it's going to be difficult to see him leave. I think it's going to be a situation where I don't know if he's actually going to do it, but James Harden just isn't the finisher he was in Houston anymore.
You remember Blake Griffin with the Clippers? Like, we've seen him fall off. I mean, he can still put some points up. I mean, we didn't really see him do much. He was with Detroit for a little bit, but
and
right
he's 33.
He's 33. He's right there. So
yeah, he's right there at that end of the line. So
yeah.
I think we do have to. It's just like with football, we have to come back to earth with, these great players that went way past when anyone is expected to. I mean, we look at a guy like, Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson at the running back position playing way longer than they had any business going. Tom Brady won. I mean, Adam Vinatieri as a kicker, he went way longer than he probably should have. Our kickers are playing longer every season now, it seems. Right, and Brady's still going, and then you kind of see Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, what do you mean? You still got 10 years left? It's like, no, he really doesn't. We can't expect these players to go forever. Eventually, time is going to catch up to them because not everybody can be that superstar that took care of their body for 20 straight years as a Temple. I mean, it just doesn't happen. You don't have that level of commitment out of every single athlete in the world, and even if you did, some people just aren't built with the ability to last that long.
Only certain guys can do it.
Yeah. Sometimes it is just about being, born that way. Yep. You have to have a body that's born durable, the right genetics.
Like Tom Brady.
Somehow like Tom Brady, who really, for the most part, has avoided super serious injuries his entire career. Much like LeBron until the later stages here in the last couple.
A lot of people don't realize that he didn't really get to where he's at until the latter part of his career. He didn't go to a Super Bowl for a decade. People don't realize that. Like, there was a decade where he did not go to a Super Bowl. The last one was the helmet.
Well, he did go, but he lost. Those two were Giants.
He didn't win a Super Bowl. That's what I meant. He didn't win one for a decade. So, that's where his latter careers where he stacked up all the Super Bowls, honestly. So, I mean,
he doesn't have a lot of injuries overall. I mean, there's been 7 individual times he has gotten injured. One was the MCL tear last year.
And he waited till the offseason.
Right, and he waited till the offseason. And then he tore his ACL back in September of 2008 in the first quarter of Week 1, missed that rest of the season. And pretty much he has played every other season.
Yeah,
there's been a couple times he's had to sit out a couple of games, but you're not expecting that out of everybody.
No. But all right, let's jump back in here. Mavericks Suns took that game one by a touchdown. I think 121-114.
Yeah.
So
and Doncha went off.
Oh yeah. So
45 points from him, and they still couldn't get it done. Mike and I were talking about this game yesterday and the fact that Dallas just doesn't have a center that can compete with DeAndre Ayton. And much like Memphis, that's their biggest need in the offseason is getting a big guy down there to compete in the Western Conference. Because if DeAndre Ayton and the Suns are going to be the powerhouse the next couple of years, teams are going to have to build to beat them, much like we saw the transition to three-point shooting to beat Golden State. Nobody could do it, but someone's going to have to try and step up and compete with that level of dominance on the inside that DeAndre Ayton brings to the floor. We don't have many big men like him in the league, and I think they're going to make a resurgence here sooner rather than later, and I really hope they do, because having a big presence on the inside, you saw it with the Suns and their ability to rebound as a whole team thanks to his presence down there, and him forcing the other team with no true center to have to double team him on box outs to get rebounds. I mean, it definitely opens up the floor for everybody else, and going to this game, unless Luka Doncic goes big again, I don't see the Dallas Mavs coming away with this one. Unfortunately, I got the Suns taking this second game.
And Alec, I think yesterday, I know we talked about them not finding scoring without, outside of Luka, which we should have criticized them for it because they haven't done that. But they got to be pretty somewhat encouraged that they only lost by 7. Luka went off and they didn't get anything else besides him. If some guys can make a couple extra baskets, they could have won that game.
They could have, but can you expect Luka Doncic to drop 45 points again?
You can't.
No.
I mean, you got to have their defense step up too as well. I mean, that's a lot of points they gave up. But Phoenix plays well at home, and I think they said today that Phoenix has beaten them the last 10 times. So they don't have really much of a recipe to beat these guys.
No.
You need guys like Spencer Dinwiddie to step up. He had 8 games last game, but we need to see him play better. I mean, 2 for 4 from 3-point, 3 for 8 from field goal. He played 30 minutes too. I mean, you need to see Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, they traded for him, right?
I thought that was a really good pickup when they got him. And I still think it is, but he's got to be more consistent helping out Luka.
Yeah.
I think maybe the most impressive thing out of this game is Luka Doncic put up 45 points being guarded by Devin Booker and Chris Paul and Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean,
who is an underrated defender, Cam Johnson.
And Cam Payne, who also is a very underrated defender. It's a very great defensive team in the Suns. And Doncic still did whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
Although I think he got a lot of those points against Jay Crowder, who is getting older, so I think he's slowing down. Can't keep up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he is. Crowder is definitely falling off. You remember when he was in Boston and he was hitting threes everywhere, and he came to Cleveland and didn't do it? I'm like,
him and Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah.
And he hasn't hit that many threes since he left Boston.
No.
Or got traded.
No.
Because that's why Cleveland wanted him, because he dropped them on us, and we were like, maybe he can bring that in.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Cleveland tried to load up on some older three-point shooters with Korver and Crowder, bringing those guys in.
J.R. Smith.
J.R., brought him back.
Yeah. So, we'll see. DeAndre Ayton is the forward trade. They're 25 points last game. Booker had 23 points. Chris Paul had 19. Cameron Johnson, man, is a gem. 17 points off the bench, man. And he's got a little brother, too, doesn't he? Playing in North Carolina.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like players like that. Cameron Payne. I liked this kid when he was with OKC. I remember a young Cameron Payne with OKC. He can't shoot. He can play defense, but he cannot shoot at all. 1 for 3 for 3 points. I think he shot 14 or 15 in one game in the last series.
And I told you, Matt, you didn't remember that one time I brought
Johnson,
it up.
6'8" guard from UNC didn't play this season.
You didn't remember the time I brought it up. He was with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like the first or second year after LeBron left again.
Cameron Payne, man. I wonder they got rid of him.
It's crazy how many random guys you end up seeing on your roster, and you look back and you go, wait, we had him?
Yeah, I remember when Seth Curry, we used to have Seth Curry.
Danny Green, too. Danny Green was on the Cavs.
Right.
So, oh well. But, I mean, I don't know. I think I picked Phoenix to win this. But, I mean, if you don't see anything else from anybody besides Luka Doncic, it's going to be very hard for them.
It's going to be hard, too. And I think when Alec was kind of talking about Dallas before the series started, I was kind of saying the thing that concerns me about them is they don't really play well at home in the postseason. Even going back to last year with the Clippers, they should have won that series and they couldn't win at home. And I think so far they played better at home against Utah, but I mean that's Utah. But I don't really see much of a way they can win the series at all. I mean they're just overmatched. It's just they are.
Phoenix. Yep. All right, Phoenix versus Miami. Let's go. That'd be an epic NBA Finals, though, right?
I don't know. The nickname would be Heat, Suns, same thing almost.
I don't know. I don't think that'd be as great as we think it would be.
Okay.
I don't think the matchups are there.
Okay.
I think the best matchup is Suns and Bucks again.
Suns and Bucks.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. What about Warriors and Bucks?
I think that's just as great.
Yeah. I like to see that.
The one thing is matchups. I mean, I would love to see Steph Curry going up against Giannis Antetokounmpo in a 7-game series. Seeing those two guys just dominate, because I think both of them would be able to. I mean, you have some okay defenders for the Bucks. They're obviously showing out right now against the Celtics, but you can't get past the shooting of Golden State, and Giannis is always going to get his, because I don't think Golden State has somebody that matches up against him. So you're going to see the outside shooting, and probably Giannis going for 50 inside the paint alone.
Probably.
That would be good. That would be good to me.
And it's looking. I mean, it's still early in the Boston-Milwaukee series, but I think we're gonna get Miami out of the Philly series. You're gonna get possibly a rematch of Milwaukee and Phoenix, or Milwaukee and Miami again. That's gonna be
fun. Gonna be sick. That's who knocked them out in the first round last
year.
The
M&M Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh boy.
Christmas M&Ms too.
Sweet,
red and
man.
green.
Yeah.
What?
I was saying they're the Christmas M&Ms. They're red and green.
Throw the Christmas colors in. They make those special ones for Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my M&Ms. I'm the fattest one on this show. I know my M&Ms.
Jeez.
You said it. All right.
I said it. You guys can't.
But all right, let's move out of basketball. Let's talk some baseball. I don't know.
Now let's talk about the Taiwanese Plus League.
You could take that one, Alec.
All right.
No, I was just looking up Anthony Bennett, seeing where he ended up, and he's on the Kaohsiung Steelers. Well, we were talking about random Cavs players. He's the one that came to mind. He's actually the highest drafted player in the NBA to play in the Taiwanese league, which is no surprise.
I just want to say
he played in Jerusalem last year.
This is off topic, but I got on my phone that pulled up the Indians game, or Guardians, sorry.
Yeah.
Clevenger's pitching for San Diego. I forgot how obnoxious his windup is. Huh? That guy has so much movement before he even throws a pitch. Like, it's so unnecessary. I like him, though. Not saying I don't like him.
I miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
I got his bobblehead.
That's a sweet one. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I got that on it. Look I got it on now. It's so unnecessary. Sorry, I just noticed that.
It works. Well, why don't we go ahead and move into baseball here? 10 minutes left. Mike, your Pirates are winning a game. They're up 2-0.
Hey, they've held their ground so far.
And granted, the Tigers do have 2 guys on base with 1 down in the inning, though. So.
Yeah, but it was first and third with no outs, so they picked up an out. Double play gets them out of it. They're not great at that, though, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, do you know who currently leads most double plays so far this season?
Grounding, like into double plays or like fielding?
Fielding.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Because it looks like the Cubs have grounded into the most so far.
I think the Cubs are up there, yeah. I think I heard
They're
that.
At 22 or 25 grounded into double plays. Best teams at avoiding it, Texas Rangers, Baltimore Orioles, probably because those guys can't get on base. Surprisingly, one of the teams with the most is the Cincinnati Reds, so they can get on, but then they get into the double plays. Cleveland's up there. Pittsburgh actually in the bottom half, so not too shabby. Detroit, where are they?
Did you say Cleveland was up there?
Cleveland's one of the highest teams, yeah. They've had 21, and the highest is 25.
They've grounded into 21, right?
At least they're making contact.
Yeah. Making contact doesn't always result in runs, Matt.
I know, but at least they're hitting.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying.
What team has the most strikeouts?
I would have to, I don't know. I would have to guess Pittsburgh's up there. They do strike out a lot.
Ambulance going off.
Yeah, that's me. It's not for me, but you know.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, I hope it's not.
I'm going down.
I'm yelling too.
Most strikeouts per game, team leader or season leader right now is Baltimore at nearly 10 per game. Cincinnati's up there at 9. Pittsburgh's 25th right now at 9.
I figured.
Best teams, Chicago 6.9, St. Louis 7.1. Cleveland is 8.27, 12th best.
All right.
Ahead of the Yankees.
Yes!
I knew that one.
You, by the way, are on fire right now.
Yeah.
11 in a row.
That's insane. I got to put on another power ranking here soon because that's nuts.
I'm going to make my own. Maybe we can go at it, Alec.
Uh-oh.
Are you scared?
No.
You said uh-oh.
I know. Just means I have competition, so now I got to do it like better.
Oh, okay.
Bases loaded now for Detroit.
2-1 now. You're a little behind.
We got Quan up.
I'm on MLB.com, so I blame them.
Yeah, we're better than them.
We're better.
3-1, Matt. You guys are losing.
How about this? Cardinals up 5-0 right now over the Royals.
Royals are just
rolling them. Astros are going up big too. Bottom of the second, and they got 2 guys on, 2 down, and they're already up 4-0 over the Mariners.
I think it's kind of disappointing with Kansas City. They brought some good guys in. They brought some good young guys up, and they haven't really done much.
Jr. I like Whit Merrifield.
Yeah, but he sucks so far.
Yeah,
Bobby Witt, his average stinks. He's like
keep in mind, guys, we got doubleheaders today with the Pirates, Tigers, and Padres, Guardians.
Yeah,
they're both doubleheaders. So
they ran out yesterday.
Yeah, just got to throw that up there.
All right,
but I'm trying to.
How about this?
We got a lot of games on tonight.
Pitching for the Rays right now.
Oh, is he really?
He's about to pitch. Well, he's projected.
He's got the 3:30 pitch then against the Athletics.
Yeah.
Can we continue to talk about how awful attendance has been for Oakland this season? I think last night they were like 4,000 people.
Well, for Oakland, yeah, but how about just in general in baseball? I don't know if I sent you guys. I saw it somewhere on Instagram. I don't know if I sent it in the group.
Well, what time did they play?
They're in normal times, Matt. They're playing at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever time out there. I mean, it's not like bad times.
I get today if like Cleveland has bad attendance. They're playing right now. Everybody's at work.
And I get, like, there's been games, and we've talked about the weather a lot. There's a couple games last week Pittsburgh had at home. Their numbers sucked. I mean, they had a couple thousand. It wasn't great. But I think that's
Pittsburgh
part of...
right now is the second worst in baseball attendance this season.
Yeah. And
averaging
I think that's
12,000 a game. Oakland is down there averaging under 8,000, by the way. Yeah. So that's really bad.
And again, I want to see a team like...
What's Cincinnati's?
I feel like they haven't even
Cincinnati is higher than Cleveland, higher than Washington, higher than Miami. They are at 19,000 people a game, just below the Chicago White Sox. Cleveland only has under 15,000, 14,763.
Are you serious?
Well, Cleveland's hardly even played at home. They've had like 5 home games.
Yes, they only have had 5 home games, so not a lot.
3-20, and people still go watch them? Oh my gosh.
Matt, I go watch my team all the time, and they get blown out. It's part of being a fan. You know that.
But number one team right now for perspective, we talk about Pittsburgh at 12,000, Oakland at around 8,000. The Los Angeles Dodgers have been racking in attendance this season. 48,771 fans is their average attendance right now.
And that's also a destination stadium, too.
Yeah. St. Louis is second with 38,970. San Diego's at 38,710. Atlanta's after them. New York is 5. San Fran is 6. Houston's 7. Boston's 8. Colorado's 9. And the Angels of Anaheim are 10. Mets fall right there at 11.
Who cares?
Just figured I'd point it out that the Mets are actually bringing them in this year. Got to give them credit. We don't know how long this will last.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Give it to them while we can. But how about this one? For Cleveland, when they haven't been at home, or when they've been, in total, their averages on the season, for their games, about 21,000 people. So they're getting a lot more away from home this season. About 7,000 more at these games in total for these attendance.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting mark, too, because Pittsburgh's up a lot higher as well. They have 21,000, which is almost 10,000 more than what they have at home.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
It's not.
But average attendance last season was 18,900 for all of baseball. I think you're probably going to see more than that. That was a 37-year low after last season. It was a 33.9% drop from the 68.5 million in 2019. Obviously, 2020 is excluded there because there was no fans.
And I don't know how much it matters last year because most stadiums were like half capacity, so that plays a factor.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up here for the Casual Sports Podcast Wednesday edition. Be sure to tune in to Power Hour coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Bye.